Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today I'm talking about the self-published science fiction competition number 4, of which I am a judge in Teen Space Girls. I mentioned this at the start, kind of my introduction to this year's competition video, but this video is the one where I talk about all the books that we were assigned, the first 31 or so, of which we had to read the first 15-20% to narrow it down to which ones move into the quarterfinalists. So this is basically just kind of like a little social boost for all of the authors. As my team hasn't submitted our initial thoughts or quarterfinalists yet, this video is just my votes specifically. My opinion on the books could be overruled, so don't get disheartened or too excited depending on what you see here. It's highly possible the team will decide differently from what I think. I just wanted to showcase all the books in case my subscribers are interested in some indie sci-fi. In case you were wondering, I will not be doing reviews on Goodreads of books I've only read 20% of. That's just not something that I have time to do or want to do. If other people want to do that, that's great. I'm not doing that. When it came to yes or no, I focused mainly on whether the story drew me in. By 15 to 20%, the premise should be established. Whether there was info dumping or a lack of characterization, whether it was well edited, for example, typos and head hopping and passive voice, and whether there was anything unique to the genre that made it stand out. Basically, if I had read the sample on Amazon, would I continue with it? I was also being very strict because this is a competition. I'm a very nice reviewer generally. If you check out my other reviews, I give a lot of books 5 stars. I'm very I like to praise books more than tear them down. But this is a competition. I had to be a bit more strict. So I'm going to do this in no real order. I'm basically going to show you the cover here. I actually hadn't seen any of the covers when I did the reading. I actually hadn't read the book's jacket copies as well. I like to go into the books completely blind, as I think that's the fairest way to do it in my opinion. Of course, other people have other ways of doing it, and that's totally fine. That's just how I did it. But here I'm going to read the jacket copy. I'm going to show you the cover, and I'm going to let you know whether I voted yes or no. Simple as that. I'll tell you up the front, there were 18 no's and 12 yeses and 1 maybe. So take that as you will. So let's get into it. A Dirge for Cassius by Callum Lott. Also, apologies if I pronounce things wrong. I'm terrible for that. So apologies in advance for everybody. So what's this book about? Chaos seeps into the Valsolis galaxy. Cassius Karkide is on the brink of letting his addiction to relieving his sorrows claim his mind. When the sages demand he take a new partner, Cassius must forfeit his old ways in order to solve the twisted Red Hand murders. To unravel an interstellar mystery and stop the Red Hand, Cassius must pull himself from the very depths of despair and learn to change before the entire Velutra falls into oblivion. Stare too long to the abyss, and the abyss stares back. I voted no on this one. Next, we have A Quiet Universe by K.F. Atkinson. Sarah is a fabricant, and her job is simple. Keep Annalise Fletcher safe, a role she performs dutifully and without fail, as she was designed to. Neither she nor her charge expected that this routine assignment could lead to love, but when feelings begin to bloom, neither see fit to stand in their way, and the two find themselves leading a shared life where both must walk a tightrope, precariously balancing between duty and what domestic bliss is woven in the spaces remaining. For a time, they are as close as happy as they can manage. Then Annalise vanishes away to the embattled starship upon silver tides, leaving a cryptic warning in her wake, and Sarah finds herself frantically in pursuit, on an illegal mission to save her objective-turned lover and bring her home alive. She isn't sure what she'll find, but what awaits is a web ensnaring both wayward lovers, far more tangled than either could possibly know, and lurking upon this forsaken vessel is a descent into insanity that will force Sarah to confront the bleak truth at the heart of her function. I voted yes on this one. Next, we have A Wolf in Space by Alex Valdiers. Gunslinger, Skyhost Rider, Lone Wolf. Malvius is a veteran gunslinger in Laragon, a 6-planet solar system with 2 rivers, two train lines linking each planet together. The 2 rivers are a beehive for opportunistic merchants and feisty gunslingers. All you need to survive in Laragon is a skyhorse to roam the open space and a gun blaster to protect your hide and earn your keep. Wild moons and saloons are aplenty. Money is easily made and lost. But life for Malvius isn't about money. It is about helping who needs helping, shooting who needs shooting. Along comes the Roak gang. Shattered, their leader wounded, half of the gang incarcerated. Malvius feels compelled to help. Little did he know that simply relaying a message from their leader to the survivors of the Roak gang will send him on a wild course of events that will see him facing off a space wizard, assisting a space train heist, and becoming Laragon's most wanted man. That sounds awesome, but unfortunately I gave this one a no. After the Fall, The Engineer and the Apocalypse by Gary Gainford. Or Jerry, I'm not really sure. Haley left Dublin for a 6-week internship in Seattle. 4 years later, and she's living in the ruins of Washington State after the world fell in a cascade of nuclear bombs, computer viruses, and human plagues. When she's accused of her friend's murder, she flees into the night with one destination in mind, home to Marley, the love she left behind. To escape her pursuers, skip around the swathes of chemical and radioactive waste, avoid the kings, Roman gang marauders, she will need to use every bit of engineering knowledge she has. Can she make it across the continent and in an uncrossable ocean to finally get home? Does home still exist, or did it perish in the fall? I voted no on that one. Echoes, Entanglement, Book 1, by Phil Oddie. Who can you trust if you can't trust yourself? Esther Beck doesn't want to be a software salesman, yet here he is, newly arrived in the city-state of Trinity for a make-or-break meeting with the local administrative department. Underprepared, undermotivated, and oversensitive, every little thing about this strange place seems to stress Estelle out. When he discovers a message scrawled on the back of a napkin in his own handwriting, telling me he's trapped in a time loop, he knows for sure that he's in over his head. Then the administration building explodes. As Estelle struggles to make sense of his situation and find an escape, he is drawn into Trinity's bizarre underworld and the struggles for power against Trinity's corrupt mayor, Cheng Guotuye. Sorry. Combining science fiction and urban thriller, Echoes is a story about being trapped by your past choices and what it takes to break free. This is one of the ones I wavered on, but in the end I did vote no on it. Next we have Elegy of a Fragmented Vineyard by Caden Love. Forced to appease the policies of foreign fiefdom, Fenmir must do the harvest organs from infants. Forced to appease the policies of a foreign fiefdom, Fenmir must do the harvest organs from infants. I think there shouldn't be a do in there. 10 years ago, a new generation of children began to manifest abilities from the gods. Now nearly half of a continent has chosen to graft these organs into adults, granting them their powers. Fenrir will no longer participate, but can he repent his sin before all morality is lost? Meanwhile, Aerie must give all to preserve the process of harvesting, silencing those who oppose her people. Will this land of peace resort to the barbaric practice of war? In a battle of preservation and progression, there can only be one victor. I did say no to this one, primarily because it is not a science fiction. At least the first 20% that I read, it was strictly a fantasy, and it's a sci-fi competition. Also, looking on Goodreads, the genres are clearly listed as fantasy, dark fantasy, and high fantasy, so yeah. Next we have Even the Stars Deserve to Die by Ramon Miraviteles Mas. I apologize. On Earth, the cities of humanity crumbled to dust, turning into fossils. Forests burned and life went extinct. But billions of years later, it rained one last time. The siblings were born from that rain, strange creatures of human appearance and mind. Their life on the desert of Earth has no purpose until they discover the wick, a molecule burning around their genetic material, condemning them to death 100 years and 3 months after birth. In search to find out if life is worth living, a researcher explores a cave on Earth billions of years old. The brain inside a simulacrum misses its dead father. The commander of a spaceship travels to meet a mysterious satellite orbiting Mercury, perhaps an ancient artifact that humans left behind before extinction. There's a bit more, but it's just kind of hyping it up. So that one actually I voted a no on. Next we have Far Flung by Utunu. On the harsh, barren planet of Sands, in a small settlement of Oasis, live 3 young companions, the inseparable Phoenix, Boris and Tuther, and their best friends, the hyena Samna. Boris is psionic, and on the distant planet of Verdant, psionics are fervently sought. When the 2 planets are in conjunction, a shuttle journeys between them, bringing needed resources to Sands, and hoping to take gifted psionics back to lush Verdant in return. The shuttle's imminent arrival signifies opportunities for Oasis, but for the trio it instead evokes dread. For if Bori is chosen, he'd be taken from his dearest friends and the only home he's ever known. Bori would be broken without Tuther. Tuther would be broken without Bori. And Samna, all he can do is help make the remaining days together a little brighter. I voted yes on this one. It was so cute. Now we have Ghosts on an Alien Wind by Mo Lane. Science fiction, horror, adventure. Something murdered the galaxy. There was no warning, no explanation, and no mercy, except for humanity. Humans were the only sapiens spared, and nobody knows why. Now Earth and her colonies gingerly explore the tomb worlds, picking through the ruins of dead civilizations for answers, or at least treasures. The researchers sent out can bring back wonders, if they survive. Pamela Tanaka is the chief pilot for a research outpost on the terrifyingly comfortable world of 118, and she's precisely where she wants to be. But when madness, murder, and mass sacrifice profane her chosen home, she must search for answers on her own, but not before it's too late. Everybody who goes to the tomb world knows too late has already come and gone. I did vote yes on that one. Next we have Lizard Girl and Ghost by Olga Werby. A child lies dying. To save her, to preserve some of her identity, memories need to be retrieved from her avatar, Lizard Girl. Jude's dad is using a cyber reality game to recover some of his sick girl's memories in an attempt to restore brain function. The avatar's personality patterns help him patch the holes in Jude's brain ravaged by disease. But what becomes of a virtual mind left to roam in cyberspace after its host falls sick? The Far Synced is a cyber city forbidden to school kids and average citizens. The Far Synced is where rogue entities go to hide and to innovate and to die. It's where illegal cyber enhancements and compulsions are sold to those who have money and connections to find them. But that's cyberspace for you. Nothing is ever what it appears to be on the surface. As Jude's consciousness starts to slip, her cyber awareness gains independence. But what is a girl's avatar without her human? Can consciousness and identity be tied up in a digital world without the wet works of a human body? Jump into the world of weird and surreal, and as you journey to look for memories of a sick girl, you may accidentally discover a virtual soul of her avatar. It also says Cyberpunk meets Sleeping Beauty meets cats. Cats, which I thought was funny. I did vote no on that one. That one was another one where I was like, I'm on the fence. But it had to be strict. Lost Souls by Ryan Skefferton. Living on the planet Ring, Maximus, a brilliant engineer, hungers for more than the monotony of daily existence made to him by those that control the ring. The relentless pursuit of infinite existence is a collective purpose assigned to all, but for Maximus, it's a hollow dream that leaves his soul yearning for its own legacy. Determined to escape his repetitive life, Maximus seeks out a destiny that will offer his life significance. When shocking revelations about the ring's underbelly entwine with the hidden truths of his own lineage, he's propelled into action. Fueled by a spirit passed down to him by his indomitable father, he devotes an unshakable resolve to reshape the ring. Maximus embarks on a mission to challenge the unassailable leadership of the rings. He's ready to wager everything, even his own life, on liberating all those who live below him from the ruthless grip of their oppressors. Okay. For this one, I voted no on that one. Now we have Malcontent by I.O. Wallace. In the not-so-distant future, in the United States, splintered by corporate warfare and social strife, distant future? An unlikely antihero just might be the lesser evil. For someone living in a corporate hellscape, Werner Vogel could have had it all. His name was on a skyscraper in big neon letters. Heir apparent to the omnipotent Vogel Corp, his life could be a dream, except his encounter with an enemy insurgent 15 years ago cost him an eye and much of his sanity. He has his secret projects and his distractions and seedy nightclubs to keep his mind occupied, but his only desire is revenge. Freya is a genetic masterpiece, a heavily modified super soldier from the mythic Unit 6, an unstoppable human weapon conditioned to enjoy violence. Until the day her mission at the Vogel Corp vault goes horribly wrong and she winds up in a titanium cage with a hole in her skull. Her only way out of this mess is to help Varner get revenge on Nero, her former handler. It doesn't take her long to realize they have not only a common enemy, but a common something to bring down Unit 6 and end the decades-long war between their states. But what they find out in the process makes Warner question everything the people close to him, his country, even his own humanity. He's about to discover how far he's willing to go in the name of vengeance and the greater good. Need a bit of editing on that blurb there. Sorry. I voted no on this one. Now we have Mission of the Roark by Erica Everin. Arakia has stood for millennia, but nothing lasts forever. The Arakia Alliance is under attack. A merciless enemy has emerged with technology and weapons that rival their own. Their vendetta is clear: destroy the Alliance. The Arakian Council selects Catrix to command their best starship, the Roark, to defend the Alliance, but there's another reason they chose him. During the rising chaos, Catrix uncovers a deadly secret, one that could destroy Arakia. I just can't say Arakia. Arakaria, I don't know, and the Alliance before the enemy has a chance to. Catrix is eager to prove his worth, but can he sacrifice his morality for his dream? Apologies for being unable to say Arakrix or whatever, but I did vote no on that one. Now we have On Impulse by Heather Texel. When the department trained me to catch criminals, I never dreamed I'd become one. Agent, suspect, intergalactic fugitive. I was one of them until I shot my partner in self-defense. Even though the department cleared me of wrongdoing, my coworkers didn't agree. They turned their backs on me, so I turned my backs on them. My partner's actions never made sense. After ignoring my gut for a year, I asked my tech genius best friend to dig into it. Now Jarrett's gone dark, and I soon discover he's been brutally murdered. An officer finds me standing over the body, blaster in hand. Even I admit it looks bad. There's no way I can trust the department to investigate further, not if I'm already the prime suspect. My only option is to run. Is it impulsive? Sure. Will having law enforcement dog me across the galaxy make life difficult? Most certainly. I'll have to stay one step ahead of them if I want to solve Jarrett's murder and clear my name. Doing that will require every trick the department taught me, and a few I learned on my own. So this was the one that I loved from the get-go. I really, really liked this one, so I definitely voted yes on that. Even if the others don't vote for it, I'm probably going to keep reading it. I really liked this one. Orbiting Fortunes by A. L. MacDonald. Alan Mercer's life as a cop on Mars was years and almost 200 million miles behind him. After his partner is killed, he is ready to let others do the good deeds, play the hero, and suffer the consequences. He's ready for the wild, lawless world of a flying space junker. The toughest part of space junking isn't it's keeping the find away from other junkers and staying on the good side of the beautiful station manager, Kate. Then there are the finds, and some are duds, some extremely valuable, and some cause more trouble than one can imagine. It's the latter such that leads Alan from orbit to a remote island in the Pacific, then halfway to Mars, and all the way back to facing what really drives him, even if it could get him killed. You guys, you need to edit your blurbs a bit. Come on. Sorry. But yeah, this one I voted no on. Our Virtuous Womb, books 1-4, by Haldane B. Doyle. Utopia is where you were born to belong. After 30,000 years, we've forgotten your age of machines. On this resource-stripped planet, our people are rising. We Australs are both one in many, a superorganism of superorganisms, a hypersymbiote beyond mere technology. The continent of Australia is pregnant with possibility. Our virtuous womb swells with uncountable souls. Suffer not our call that we may reach perfection, and welcome the stranger or parts thereof, so we may always grow. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I voted yes on this book because this book is so weird and interesting. What's the next one? Proliferation by Eric A. Otto. Population centers have been leveled and society has regressed to a pre-industrialized state. An advanced city rises from the ashes, enabling the rebirth of more such cities, each one subtly different, the result of an experiment in finding the best machine-governed utopia. Sovereign forces mobilized to exploit the power and the others to contain them. At the heart of this struggle is an unlikely pair, a dejected anthropologist whose life's work has finally become useful, and a snarky pirate forced to serve a monastic cult. To survive, they must not only navigate escalating conflict, but also understand the broader implications of the rising machine cities for all humanity. I voted yes on this one. Song of the Caged Warrior, a space opera by Maria A. Perez. An orphan with amazing powers forced to serve as enemies. Montour is a child, happily growing up on the planet of Aranda, until the Lost Die, an imperialistic alien race, invade his planet, then attack his seaside village. Soon, Montour loses his whole family to injury, sickness, and punishment. With his aggressive temperament fueling dreams of revenge, Montour seems destined to follow the same fate as his family and succumb to the cruelty of Lost Die enslavement. Then the Lost Die military discovers that Montour is no ordinary child. He possesses dormant telekinetic and telepathic abilities. Montour is transferred to a military science station where the devious commander intends to turn him into a Lost Die super soldier. Can Montour survive the brutal and humiliating boot camp? How will he manage the anger, depression, and self-loathing that comes from serving in the very same military that decimated his people? Or will he refuse to be a pawn in Luster's war and risk everything to take on the mantle of an Arandian warrior? I voted yes on this one. This one has a lot of trigger warnings, just FYI if you're interested in it. There's a lot of violence and against everybody. The Artificial Structure Formerly Known as the Moon by I.K. Stokovac. The Order of the Demolition has one objective: destroy the broken world, and Darwin dreams of joining them. His zeal and willingness to do anything takes him far from the abandoned school that has sheltered him throughout his young life. In a world where AI has enhanced some people and replaced others, the indigents have no purpose and nothing to look forward to. Marianne accepts her fate. She is in all ways the last person one would expect to lead a revolution, until the Order of the Demolition involves an instant in schemes and beliefs come tumbling down. Sabrine's uncle runs the Space Ladder Project. Her father is a prominent politician fitted with a brain chip. Her only friend is the governing AI, the Order of the Demolition's main target. This one I voted no, maybe on, actually. This one I wasn't sure, so I said I left it up to the rest of the team. I was kind of like, I vote maybe. I'm not sure what else. I might have to go back to that one a little bit if it needs a tiebreaker. The Automaton by Ian Young. Humanity is on the cusp of extinction. Deteriorating populations threaten the planetary economy and risk the collapse of humanity itself. In desperation, human-like machines are built to serve where man no longer can. These are the automata. 5,000 years later, humankind no longer walks the Earth, but they ascended beyond biology to float above Earth in a hemisphere-spanning supercomputer. When an anomaly arises on Earth that not even a post-biological civilization can comprehend, XR345X, a long deactivated top-of-the-line automaton, is awoken in a derelict facility deep within the overgrown jungles of Africa. With help from Hank, a mysterious holographic AI, XR must learn of the advent of the automata and the resulting civil unrest, to a war that destroyed humanity's trust in their would-be saviors, to racial disparities that divided the globe, to love eventually building a bridge that ultimately saved the human race. At the same time, a violent automaton faction threatens XR, the anomaly, and what they represent for the future of Earth. Time is one thing the automaton does not have. I couldn't really get into this one, so I voted it a no. Now we have The Blood of Houses by J.A. Garza. This one is 900 pages. Just saying, that's wild to me. A secret is a trivial for 1, adequate for 2, and fatal for 3. There's power in blood, such as the legacy of House Vega, a sovereign fiefdom standing on the brink against General Basil Zarin of Taurus. There, Jace Vega of Etria declares neutrality in his family's war in vain and virtue. A militant pacifist, he ventures beyond the Neon City to train his clandestine daughter, Seva, how to wield their inherited the roaring tides of hydrokinesis and the collateral-inducing damage of superstrength. Far across the Royal Strait, across the secular shores of Scythia, lie devout conjurers and more, an innate power severed from the dynastic kings during the generation-long uprising, yet emerging with grievous consequences and divine authority not seen in centuries. But a more civil disturbance rises to the east, where Shoshana Vega, the General of War, has decreed an ultimatum for her heretic join the destructive conflict or face execution for treason. Now Basil is charging west to Attica, bringing his daughter, the apostatized but fierce Rome, her daughter, the infamous, immeasurable Aklet Seva, and the indomitable genetic powers of House Zarin, the first an infernal like dragon's breath, the second a psionic enhancement of hearing. All are colliding in Attica, unaware of a 15-year mystery condemning Seva's birthright that will link the two feuding houses in blood forever. I voted no on this one. The Dryburgh Chronicles, The Existence of Shadows by L.P. Halliday. Scotland is a land steeped in magic and mystery, but Lillian Darling doesn't believe in such things. She has dedicated her career at Oxford University to clearing the names of those falsely accused of consorting with the devil, and that never involves any actual witchcraft, until now. When she and her research partner Edgar Falkirk head to the misty halls of the Scottish borders to meet a promising source, their journey takes an unexpected turn. Edgar's accidental discovery of an ancient spellbook, combined with an encounter with an overly enthusiastic research student, thrusts them back through time to the 16th century at the outbreak of the witch craze ensnaring early modern Scotland. I voted no on this one, but that's because it's not a sci-fi. Like, it has time travel, but it seemed more steeped in magic to me. But I actually found it really, really interesting, and so I might actually continue reading this one. I didn't think it was sci-fi enough for a sci-fi competition. The Flow of Power by David O. Melas. Apologies if that's wrong. A flywheel stores energy in a spinning cylinder. After 8 years of grad school, Margot is ready to give up on making a better one. Maybe she's not smart enough. Maybe her aging advisor is stuck on his own failures and has tasked her with an unsolvable problem. She doesn't really care until she solves it. The revolutionary crywheel brings fame and wealth, topples global energy challenges, and drags her into a scandal when it starts causing blackouts and car accidents. But surely, cutting all dependence on fossil fuels must be worth a few dead commuters. Okay. So I did vote yes on this one. This one seemed really interesting. The Long Home of the Soul by J. Carl Denton. In the year 2095, when one of the most powerful men in the world is brutally murdered, Coleman Hawkins, a burned-out Atlanta metropole detective struggling with PTSD, is tasked with finding the killer. His investigation leads him face-to-face with the endgame of global economic disparity and a secret too terrible to be believed, too horrible to be ignored. I did vote yes on this one. The Sapient Empire by Nathan Olgoff. Shindo Dekan is a socially awkward but gifted engineer who has made the most brilliant machines seen ever since the All Silence, machines that ruled Vibron Magritte used in his creation of the domain as he brought all 4 of the city-states within his iron grip. With the help of a friend of his, Shindo is secretly planning to provide prosthetic limbs to the many victims of the war his machines have waged. When Magritte finds out and slaughters Shindo's friend before his eyes, Shindo tricks Magritte into funding a warrior mech to wreak havoc and is unwittingly rewarded with a woman from Magritte's harem, Jerem El Sidon. With his mech machine and Jerem's help, Shindo stages a coup d'etat that leaves Magritte dead and him and his accomplice as platonic dual heads of state. As Shindo and Jerem work to rebuild their civilization, they're beset by factions both within and beyond the domain's borders. Can Shindo learn how to design a stable peace before the new world he's envisioned becomes a wasteland of death and destruction? I won't know because I didn't vote yes on this one. I voted no on that one. Next we have The Scotty by Eric J. Hildeman. The Scotty is a device which transforms matter into energy and then energy back into matter, just like Scotty used to do on Star Trek, hence the name. But the harsh reality is that it is no mere transportation device. Taken to its logical conclusion, it is a technology which gives its user the powers of an absolute god. And as the old saying goes, power corrupts. I voted no on this one. They Left Magic in Their Wake by Marilyn Peake. At the end of the world, there will be magic. Earth has been decimated by climate change. Humanity has fractured into isolated tribes. A child born in the southwestern desert of the United States appears to have magical powers, a strict taboo in this part of the world. In 4 other locations, people discover magical items. No one knows how they work or where they're from. Although these strange objects capture the imagination, using them is risky and dangerous. The blurb also lists out the 5 tribes that are part of this, but I'm not going to read that. I voted yes on this one. Got a couple more for you here. Time Travel Rescue, Escape from the 21st Century by Tom Cranz. Could you live in a world where personal vehicles are outlawed? Where coffee is a luxury for the elite? Where you are limited to 3 ounces of alcohol a day? Where food is manufactured? Could you live in a cube measuring 21 feet on each side and connected to thousands of other cubes in a massive complex that sits on the toxic remains of Mother Earth? This is the only life Rick has known in his 32 years. Now in the year 2212, he has the means to go back in time and set things right. A chance online meeting with a young hacker named Chen leads to a perilous journey through a wormhole back to the 21st century, where he and Chen hope to set things right before they go terribly wrong. Unbeknown to Rick is Chen's propensity for violence. Rick's 21st century guide, the smart and attractive Jill Strawbridge, takes an interest in her visitor from the future, a work assignment that becomes more than just a work relationship. While Rick is charmed and intrigued by 21st century life, Chen racks up murderous misdeeds that complicate their altruistic mission. In the end, did Rick accomplish his mission to change the course in Time Travel Rescue? I think there should be a question mark there at the end. I voted no on this one. Unnatural Selection, The Quantum Realm, Book 1. Robert P. Edwards. At the end of the 21st century, humanity is enjoying a renaissance, or so it seems. For the wealthy, a quantum biotechnology called STEM has eliminated disease and seamlessly integrates with the web. So why are people dying? Among us live the quants, a meld of robotics, AI, and quantum computing. They carry out vital work in a world dependent on technology. Personal quants can be built to order for the privileged few. Sophie and her marine biologist father, Chris, live in one of the few habitable zones left in the southern hemisphere. Kazumi is the son and heir of Mashimoto Corporation, a leading manufacturer of quantum technology. Mackenzie is the gifted daughter of a technology billionaire, Alistair Ace Abernathy. Love and loss will drive them together, across a world scarred and divided by climate change. Only together will they discover the terrifying truth about who is really behind the death of their loved ones. I voted yes on this one. Vermilion Flames, Midnight War, Book 1, by Adam Fernandez. In the pursuit of progress, how much of your soul are you willing to sacrifice? In the shadow of a ruined earth, the Republic and its church claim to offer safety and security while burning ideas and people alike. No moon or planet is free of flames and bloodshed, even as the rebel organization, the Vermilion Coalition, seeks to dismantle the Republic's oppressive regime. On a terraformed Mercury, Kai L. Verdon hopes to find the truth behind her mother's murder, a difficult task when everyone insists it was a tragic accident. When Kai's adventurous spirit leads her into the forbidden Great Desert, she's sent to the Republic's capital on Mars to study under the watchful eye of the all-powerful church she despises. There she unravels mysteries about her mother's life and faces a fall in line and risk everything to take up her mother's mantle. Silas Beckett, High Commander of the Pandora Fleet and hero of the Republic, can feel his time running out. Fighting terrorists has been his life's mission, but his nemesis Hex, leader of the Vermilion Coalition, still eludes him. As his failures mount and his allies abandon him, he has few chances left to bring Hex to justice. Can Silas secure peace for his family and for the entire solar system? I voted yes on this one. And there's one more. Your Service is Required by Jeff Walker. Earth is now under the control of 2 artificially intelligent rulers, Angela and Malcolm. They govern the planet and use humanity to service their needs. David 00472 is one of those daily service attendants that must repair or do the commands of the 2 AI overlords. He suddenly becomes a person of interest to Angela as she takes a liking to him and helps him to improve his life. David is cautious about her true intent. Malcolm, ever watchful over all humans, wants to see why David 00472 has become Angela's pet project. I voted no on that one. So yeah, there is the list. Hopefully some of these seem interesting to you and you check them out. I don't know if any of them are on Kindle Unlimited, but you should see if they are. See if any of them have audiobooks. I'm not sure about that either. I really look forward to which ones my team decides. Now, I'm recording this about a week before I'm posting it, so it's possible they might post this like in the interim. If that happens, sorry that this is slightly out of date, but basically this is my these are my opinions on the books. As I said at the start, you know, it's a competition, so I had to be a bit kind of harsher than I normally would in determining kind of what ones I voted for, but I don't think any of them are bad books, and I think you should check them out if you are interested in supporting some indie authors. I look forward to reading, you know, the full 6 that we put towards the quarterfinalists and then whatever ones go into the semis. Yeah, as usual, this has been a really interesting experience, and I hope that it spreads word about indie sci-fi because, yeah, just rambling on and on. Thank you.